Champagne used to be seen as a risky drink. 17th century winemakers called it the devil's wine because bottles often exploded from the pressure. Today, it's a worldwide symbol of celebration and luxury. Ever wondered how champagne is made to become the sparkling drink we know and love? Champagne's history is as bubbly as the drink itself. It began in the 17th century in France's Champagne region. Back then, winemakers were puzzled by a strange problem: bubbles. This wasn't the nice fizz we love today. It was an unpredictable bottle-bursting trouble. Monks like Dom Perignon, whose name is now on some of the fanciest bottles, weren't trying to make sparkling wine, they were trying to stop it. Legend says that when Dom Perignon first tasted what we now call champagne, he said, "Come quickly, I am tasting the stars." Fun fact, he probably didn't know those stars could come with the risk of losing an eye, since early champagne often exploded. Despite its rocky start, champagne made its way to royalty by the 18th century. Kings and queens loved its unique sparkle, and it became known as the wine of kings. Over time, winemakers improved their methods, making stronger bottles and controlling fermentation. By the time of the Industrial Revolution, champagne wasn't just a drink, it became a symbol of luxury, celebration, and style. Modern champagne production combines both skill and science. It starts with hand-picked grapes from the region's chalky soil, which gives the wine its unique flavor. The real magic happens during the second fermentation, when winemakers add sugar and yeast to create the bubbles. The bottles are stored in cool, dark cellars for months or even years, where they are carefully rotated to move the sediment into the neck of the bottle. Here's a fun twist. The sediment is removed through a process called disgorgement, where the neck of the bottle is frozen and the plug of ice and sediment is popped out. It's like a spa day for the champagne bottle. Finally, the winemaker adds a touch of sweetness, dosage, a mix of wine and sugar, before sealing the bottle with a cork and cage. So, the next time you enjoy a glass of champagne, keep in mind that it's not just a drink. It's the result of hundreds of years of trying new things, making mistakes, dealing with explosions, and a lot of careful work. Enough with the history. Let's head inside the factory and see how it's made. Champagne is much more than a simple manufacturing process. It's an art that takes patience and a deep understanding of the best ingredients nature offers. The process of making champagne is careful and detailed, starting in the vineyards of the Champagne region in France and ending on store shelves around the world. Each bottle of champagne is the result of centuries of tradition and new ideas, with methods perfected over time to create the world's most famous sparkling wine. The process balances science, skill, and hard work. Let's take a closer look at how champagne is made, step by step, from grape to glass. Champagne production starts in the vineyard with the selection of grapes. It is made from three main types of grapes: Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, and Chardonnay. These grapes were chosen over time because they grow well in the cool climate of the Champagne region. This region, located in northeast France about 90 miles from Paris, has the perfect weather to create the fresh, crisp, and vibrant flavors that Champagne is famous for. Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier are red grapes, but Champagne is mainly a white wine made from them, with most of the color removed from the skins. Pinot Noir adds body, structure, and intensity, while Pinot Meunier brings fruitiness and smoothness. Chardonnay, the white grape, adds elegance, freshness, and a crisp acidity that balances the wine. Each grape variety adds its own unique qualities, and the mix of them decides the final taste of the champagne. Champagne vineyards need careful attention. Growers use traditional and eco-friendly methods, often with organic and biodynamic practices. The cool climate in Champagne makes the growing season short, so the grapes must ripen quickly to have the right balance of sugars and acidity. Growers manage things like vine density and pruning to help this, while keeping the soil and vines healthy. The chalky soil in Champagne helps the vines get the right of water and nutrients, which is key for producing high-quality grapes. Champagne houses, or maisons, work with many independent grape growers who have their own vineyards, offering a variety of grape sources. These growers often sell their grapes to champagne houses, with the best quality fruit chosen based on factors like location, vintage, and vineyard care. It's a win-win. Growers get paid for their grapes, while champagne houses get access to a wide range of high-quality fruit. In the vineyard, the harvest is an exciting time. By law, champagne producers must hand-pick their grapes. This method reduces damage to the fruit, preventing oxidation or bad flavors. Hand-picking also lets workers choose only the ripest, best grapes, making sure only the highest quality fruit is used in the final blend. Once the grapes are harvested, the next step is pressing. In champagne, pressing is done carefully to make sure the juice is as pure as possible. The method used to press the grapes is very important because the quality of the juice affects the quality of the champagne. Unlike other wine regions where machines might be used, champagne producers use pneumatic presses, which gently squeeze the grapes to get the juice. The first press, called the cuvée, produces the cleanest and lightest juice, and it is the most valued. It is separated from the second and third pressings, the tails, which produce juice with more compounds, like tannins, that can affect the wine's clarity and flavor. The cuvée juice is used for the best champagne, while the second and third presses may be used for lower quality wine or discarded. The cuvée juice is also more delicate and has fewer impurities, making it the best for champagne. After pressing, the juice is moved into fermentation containers. The type of container used, steel or oak, depends on the producer's choice and the style of champagne they want to create. Stainless steel tanks are often used because they keep the wine's fresh, clean taste, which is important for non-vintage champagne. Some producers use oak barrels to ferment their wine, which adds subtle flavors like spice, vanilla, and nuttiness, and is usually preferred for vintage or premium champagne. Once the juice is pressed, it goes through the first fermentation, which turns the sugars in the juice into alcohol. In champagne production, the goal is to make a still wine with very little leftover sugar, which will be used as the base for the final champagne. During fermentation, natural yeast from the grapes is activated, or commercial yeast may be added to help the process. The fermentation happens in stainless steel tanks or oak barrels, with the temperature carefully controlled. If the temperature is too high, the fermentation can be too strong and affect the wine's freshness. If it's too low, fermentation might stop. In the cold, windy climate of Champagne, fermentation is usually slow, which helps keep the wine's crisp acidity and aromatic qualities. At this stage, the base wine doesn't have the bubbles we expect from champagne. It's still wine, but it already has the acidity and brightness that will make up the final champagne. The acid levels in the wine can change depending on the weather during the growing season, so winemakers need to watch the fermentation closely to keep the wine's crispness. After fermentation, the next step is blending, where the winemaker's skill is key. Blending helps create a consistent champagne that reflects the house's style. Winemakers mix base wines from different grape varieties, vineyards, and sometimes even different years. This ensures the champagne tastes the same each year, even if the harvest conditions are different. Blending is an art. Each base wine is tasted and judged on its acidity, body, and aroma. These wines are then mixed in precise amounts to create a balanced product. Some champagne houses blend up to 100 different base wines from different vineyards and years. This careful mixing helps ensure the champagne tastes the same every year, giving drinkers a consistent experience. In addition to blending fresh wines, many producers also use reserve wines, wines stored from previous years. These older wines add more complexity and depth to the final blend, giving the champagne extra layers of flavor. The winemaker's skill in balancing these wines is key to keeping the quality and unique taste that champagne drinkers expect. One of the key steps in making champagne is the second fermentation. This is when the champagne gets its famous bubbles. After the base wine is blended, a small amount of sugar and yeast, called the liqueur de tirage, is added, and the bottle is sealed with a crown cap. The wine is then stored in cool, dark cellars for the second fermentation. This happens inside the bottle, unlike other sparkling wines that are carbonated by adding CO2. As the yeast ferments the added sugar inside the bottle, it creates alcohol and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is trapped in the sealed bottle, dissolving into the liquid and creating the bubbles that make champagne special. The yeast also produces compounds that add aroma and flavor, giving the wine more depth and complexity. This process usually takes 4 to 6 weeks, but some champagne houses let the wine ferment longer to develop even richer flavors. The second fermentation is what makes champagne special. This process, called the traditional method, or method champenoise, takes a lot of work but creates better bubbles and more complex flavors. The yeast adds the toasty, bready notes that champagne lovers enjoy. Also, the longer the wine stays in the bottle, the more fine bubbles it develops, making it smoother and more refined. After the second fermentation, champagne goes through an important phase, aging on its lees, which are the dead yeast cells left behind. This process, called autolysis, helps develop the champagne's flavor and texture. Over time, the yeast cells interact with the wine, changing it from a basic wine into the complex, sparkling wine champagne is known for. As the lees break down, they release compounds that add richness, depth, and a smooth, creamy feel. These compounds also bring subtle flavors like bread dough, biscuits, almonds, and nuts, making the champagne more complex. The amount of time champagne spends aging on its lees can greatly affect its taste and texture. For non-vintage champagne, it must age for at least 15 months by law, with 12 of those months on the lees. Many producers age theirs longer to improve the wine's flavor and texture, giving it a fuller, more refined taste. Vintage champagnes can age much longer, sometimes 5 to 10 years or more. This longer aging brings out more complex aromas and flavors like nutty, toasty, and brioche notes, and helps the wine mature, becoming smoother and more elegant. The choice of how long to age champagne on its lees is a key decision for the winemaker. It requires careful attention, as the lees can affect the wine in different ways depending on how long they stay in contact. Aging on the lees adds complexity, but it's a delicate balance. Too little time, and the champagne may lack depth and smoothness. Too much, and it could develop strong yeasty flavors that mask the wine's fruit and floral notes. The winemaker's job is to find the right balance for each vintage and style of champagne. The time spent on the lees also plays a big role in shaping the final style of champagne. For example, Blanc de Blancs, made only from Chardonnay, often benefits from longer aging on the lees. This helps balance its natural acidity and brings out its fresh, citrusy flavors. On the other hand, Blanc de Noirs, made from Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, may need less time on the lees to keep its fruit-forward style and vibrant flavors. Sometimes, producers choose to age champagne longer on the lees to create a wine with more structure and complexity, making it richer and fuller. No matter the choice, aging on the lees is an essential part of champagne production, helping turn it from just sparkling wine into a luxurious, multi-layered drink that has been admired worldwide for centuries. After aging on the lees, champagne needs to be cleared of sediment to keep it clear and visually appealing. This is done through a process called riddling. In the past, it was done by hand using a wooden rack called a pupitre, which held the bottles at a 45-degree angle. Workers would slowly rotate the bottles each day, moving the sediment towards the neck of the bottle. This process could take weeks and required a lot of patience. Today, many champagne houses use a gyropalette, an automated machine that speeds up the process. The gyropalette can tilt and rotate several bottles at once, copying the hand-riddling technique, but much faster. This method lets producers work more efficiently without affecting the wine's quality, finishing the process in just a few days. While many producers now use the gyropalette, some still prefer to hand-riddle their bottles. They believe the manual method gives them more control for the best results. Whether by hand or machine, riddling is an important step in champagne production, making the wine clear and free of sediment, ready for the next stage, disgorging. Riddling not only removes the sediment, but also helps improve the champagne's quality. It keeps the wine clear and free of impurities, giving it the fine bubbles and smooth character champagne is known for. After the sediment is moved to the neck of the bottle through riddling, the next step is disgorgement. This involves freezing the neck of the bottle, turning the sediment into a solid ice plug. When the bottle is opened, the pressure forces the frozen plug out, leaving the champagne clear and free of sediment. This process must be done carefully to make sure the champagne keeps its bubbles and carbonation, as any mistakes could cause it to lose its fizz or spill. After the sediment is removed, the bottle is filled with a mix of wine and sugar called liqueur d'expedition. This fills the bottle to the right level and adjusts the champagne's sweetness. The amount of sugar added decides how sweet the champagne will be, from brut nature, very dry, to demi-sec, sweet. The most common style is brut, which has a crisp and balanced taste. Disgorgement is a key step in making champagne. It ensures that the wine looks clear, feels smooth, and keeps its signature bubbles. This process also gives the winemaker the chance to adjust the flavor and make the champagne just right. After disgorgement, the champagne is sealed with a cork to keep the bubbles inside. Since the pressure inside the bottle is about 3 times that of a car tire, the cork needs to be strong. Champagne corks are made from high-quality natural cork and shaped to fit the bottle. The cork is held in place with a wire cage called a mucelius, keeping the pressure safely inside. The cork and cage are also part of the champagne's classic look and the special experience of opening a bottle. Once sealed, the champagne is labeled and packed for shipment. The packaging is important to protect the bottles and add to the luxury experience. Special boxes, gift packaging, and fancy labels make the champagne look as high quality as it tastes. The design of the packaging reflects the brand of the champagne house, making the product feel exclusive and stylish. It also tells the story behind the champagne, adding to the excitement and experience for the buyer. After packaging, the champagne is sent to distributors, stores, and then to consumers. This requires careful planning to make sure the wine arrives in perfect condition, keeping its quality and bubbles. The distribution process is complex, often crossing many countries, and is important for getting the champagne to people all over the world. Each bottle represents years of hard work and careful crafting. The whole process requires attention to detail to make sure the champagne is handled well from beginning to end. Making champagne from vineyard to glass can take anywhere from 3 to 10 years, depending on how long it's aged. It's a long process that needs careful attention and patience. The end result is a luxurious drink that represents skill and celebration. Each bottle is the result of generations of expertise. Champagne, with its rich history and depth, is more than just a drink. It's a story in every sip, a celebration of time and tradition. Champagne's popularity comes from its unique production process, which makes it more than just a drink. It's an experience. The careful attention given at every stage, from the vineyard to the bottle, makes champagne different from other sparkling wines. Time-consuming steps like aging on lees, riddling, and disgorging add to its complexity, flavor, and bubbles. These traditional methods, passed down over generations, create a link between the winemaker, the land, and the consumer, adding a sense of tradition and prestige that's hard to match. This dedication to quality and authenticity is what makes champagne a symbol of excellence. Each bottle, made with years of care and craftsmanship, feels unique and valuable. Whether it's a classic brut or a vintage champagne, the production methods ensure the highest quality, making it popular with both experts and casual drinkers. The skill involved in every step of production adds to champagne's prestige, solidifying its place as the ultimate luxury drink. Champagne's ability to adapt to changing tastes has helped it stay popular. While traditional methods are still key, producers have also embraced new trends in both style and marketing. The rise of niche champagne types, like organic or biodynamic champagne, and new packaging methods have attracted a younger, more diverse crowd. These changes help champagne stay relevant in a market that is always changing and growing. The branding and storytelling behind champagne are also important to its success. Producers highlight the tradition, craftsmanship, and luxury that make each bottle unique, making champagne more than just a drink. It's an experience. This mix of tradition and new ideas, along with its connection to celebrations, has helped champagne stay a global symbol of luxury, festivity, and elegance. Now that you've learned all about the world of champagne, we've got to ask, what's your go-to champagne for celebrating special moments? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more sparkling content. Cheers, and see you next time.